Hello. How's everybody doing? Let me just set up the chat here. Should get a notification in a minute. Here we are. Testing 1, 2, 3. How's it sound? How's that sound? Testing 1, 2, 3. How's it sound? That seems right. Jeff, Graham, Nick, David, how are you doing? Good to see you. Oh, yeah, doesn't look too bad on the screen. The colours, thankfully, I think. Starglider, Paul. Hope everybody's okay. Declan, how are you doing? Been hearing about the archery. Very impressive. Vincent. Sounds 11 next week. Well, happy birthday for next week, Declan. Be getting a new bow, maybe. Right, how close can I get that without that going in the camera there? I think that's okay there. Talaha, how are we doing? Raymond. Right, hopefully the camera's not too... I think it's alright. Yeah, I will... Yeah, so the plan today is... Stefan, good to see you. I am feeling better. Yesterday I was congested still, and today I'm feeling a lot better, thankfully. Weirdly, the congestion just clung on. It just wouldn't let go. And from the head cold I had last week, I think it was last week. No. I've lost track of time. But it's been a while. Second head cold. And it's just one of these things. It doesn't stop me from working. It's just there in the back. You're coughing a bit and you're all snotty and bunged up in your sinuses. God, disgusting. So, Austin, how are you doing, my friend? The plan today is to have a look at the Animal Companions expansion. Now, it's just the basic rules for the Animal Companions at the moment and how to create an Animal Companion. We've had a couple of the stalwart readers go through it, proofreaders, and we've got a good set, and it's now gone out to some other testers, and I'm going to send it out to some more people tomorrow. So we've got it be out there, and people will be looking at it, and we'll just have to see. The Folk Animal Companion, yes. Talahar. Oh yeah, Talahar. I'll send it to you as well. Nothing like some German pragmatism to check over a rule set, I reckon. So we will, we're going to have a great time. Now, the plan is today, as I say, maybe I'll go over a little bit of what's in here, and then we're going to generate some animal companions and have a look at what happens and deal with it. No, I haven't sent it yet, Talahar. I will. It's one of these things. Talahar, that's not the name you use in your emails, is it? So I've got to just look through and figure out which person you are in real life. Is random animal number 11 in everyone's version or just mine? Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Definitely. Yeah, so it has been... Carsten. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Talaha. I would have remembered that. Yeah, we'll have to get... That didn't get in there, did it? Number 11. We'll see. It will be ironic if I roll 11 on the die. But I plan to make a few and go over some of the abilities and just have a little summary of how it is. This isn't going to be one of those streams where I read word by word the rules, because there's a good chance that they're going to change. Well, be updated, I guess. But we will have a look. We'll have a look through here. As you can see, it's not laid out as it will be in the book. This is just a Word doc that has been put into the booklet. So each ability, well, many of the abilities will have their own page, and we're going to have a look at what some of these abilities are. It'd be interesting to hear people's feedback, maybe in an email, and maybe I'll cover some of the stuff where people are like, well, I wanted that in, but it's not there, and I'll talk a bit about the selection of animals that are in here for a start. Yeah. Well, I've worked hard on this week. I mean, I had some great... Jeff, your feedback was fantastic, by the way. And so I've really had to sort of really think about that and change some stuff, updates and stuff. Yeah, shadow phasing. Yeah, absolutely. We'll talk a bit. There's a couple of special animals that have unusual abilities. And it was a really interesting task, just breaking this down and thinking about what abilities. Our little stream that we did 2 weeks ago, where we talked about what people expected their companion to be able to do in the dungeon, was really useful, actually. And it kind of fed into some of my ideas that I'd had already and then added to that. And I was like, yeah, the reality of it is, animal companion doesn't really do a huge amount for you when you're in a dungeon. So I've had to come up with some different ideas and concepts and put those in, and yeah, we'll have a look at those, and I'll talk you through, and I'll briefly go through this so we get a rough idea. Just give it another 5 minutes to give people a chance to get in, and we'll have a little look. And yeah, hopefully I may have to maybe turn the camera slightly. Can't turn it anymore that way, just so we've got a bit of an angle. Love the fact it's backwards compatible with other expansions. Well, it is, and the reason is, I kind of cheated a little bit, David. I think originally there were only going to be 4 animals, so this is great. Oh, thanks, David. That's fantastic. Yes, I just got distracted by a prompt on my phone, which is really annoying. What was I saying? This is not good. It's not a good start. Right, so we'll go through here. Yeah, there's probably gonna be a random generator element to it, other than what's already there. So I'm gonna have a section at the back, which proofreaders won't have seen yet. Oh yes, backwards compatible. Thank you, Jeff. And so basically, I cheated, and the fact of the matter is, you can take your animal into into a dungeon, and it doesn't necessarily need to get too involved. So it's not necessarily taking a lot of punishment. So if you were level 5 and you wanted to take an animal companion in, at that point that animal is kind of ready and it joins you. Still, its skills are still at level 1, but you will it will still interact. It doesn't necessarily take the same punishment or leveling up that your character does. And you'll see what I mean by that as I talk about the game and how it evolves. Cody, good to see you. The idea of starting a fresh character with a brand new companion and leveling up together. Exactly. And I think most people will. I think there's some people love the companion idea and they'll really swing into it, hopefully. But as I said, if you've entered into the realm and you've done a few levels, you can bring in that companion, and that will be absolutely fine. You know, there's no, it won't necessarily be punished. There was one ability that relied upon an enemy's prime attack, but I've taken that out. Good spot there, Jeff. So it won't be affected by the level of the opposition. Now, for sure, a lower level creature is not going to damage a high level creature as effectively. You know, it's just a case. But you will level up its abilities as it goes through the dungeon with you, no matter what level you are. It will become clearer. All right. And yes, so then there's also going to be in here, there's going to be a section at the back which just details if you really want to take any type of animal, you can. The 20 animals that are in here can be the guide, if you like, to how you then move forward with another type of animal. I just felt like 20 was a good starting basis. Now, there's every chance in the future, as I was saying before, that we might do some kind of other expansion where it's an animal companion expansion, but it would include maybe mythical creatures. So stuff like that will come. But for the moment, I wanted to lay down the rules so people could see how it works and have a little play with it. And then you've got a good basis for anything that might come in the future. So that's basically it. Good. So let's start with the animal companion sheet. Is a character sheet. That's called the companion sheet. So this actually is wrong straight away. I've just spotted something. This little thing up here, look, level. We don't need level. That's so annoying. Okay, so the companion doesn't have a level. All right, it's the skills that have a level, and the abilities, I should say. So we have a name, animal type, and it has a size. Okay, now the size I've thrown in there because there will be occasions when you're role playing in your game, and if an animal needs to get through a small space and you're using inventive usage, combining that with your animal, if it's a large animal, it's not going to get through the small space. So it gives you a bit of flexibility and a bit of visualization for how your animal will work. You've got health points, XP. Now, XP work differently for... Oh, thanks, David. Yes, Jake's knocking it out of the park with some of his art. I'll show you some more later. Stefan, so you can... How are you doing, Stefan? So you can make your own companion. Yes, you can. We're gonna make some today. There's gonna be, as I say, there's gonna be a little thing at the end that talks about how you could then adapt those rules to creating your own animal, if you like. But we're gonna have a look at what animals are available. All right. Reginald Foworth the third, animal type, sneaky, size large. Yes. Now, they have 2 physical stats, heft and stealth. Okay. They have a temperament, which will have some kind of adjustment to your animal, and then they have 3 abilities. There's a little bit at the bottom here for narrative moments that can be thrown in. Now, this actually, as a sheet, was updated on the first version of the Animal Companion, so I may slightly adjust this. As we do it. Just it fits in nicely with the design of the other character sheets. You just put it next to your main character, keep it behind. You can pull it out. You'll notice that it doesn't have fighting stats, so your animals, your companions, do not fight like you do. They're just, in a sense, too fragile. Well, most of them are. There's a couple of fighting type, but they have fighting abilities that you will then use to interrupt or add to a combat. So the main combat is between you and your opponent, and the animal, your companion, will interject and attack as you're fighting. So that's the premise for how they work. And then so those are combat abilities, and then you have general abilities. So a general ability is something that can be used within the dungeon outside combat, and we'll have a look at some of those. So because I wanted the companion not just to be there to help in a combat, I wanted the companion to help get things down or distract or carry stuff. Yes, some of them can carry stuff, which is we talked a bit about that last time. And we don't have things like horses, but some of these creatures are a bit adaptable, and maybe they can carry some stuff for you. We'll talk about that in a minute. So that's kind of where we're at with the companion sheet. Needs a little bit of tweaking there, and we're going to we may all find a few things like that in here as we go through. So I'm going to, hopefully you can see that it's quite small on the print there. There's a little bit about how you meet, and we talked about it last time. You found it as a juvenile and you raised it, and that could be when you were level 1 or level 5. It doesn't matter. Well, the creature's ready when you're level 5, in a sense. You've known it for quite a long time. You can integrate the companion. We talked a bit about that. It's not a pet. We're going to be... Frank, how are you doing? Good to see you, my friend. Already above and beyond what I expect. Thank you, Talahar. Healing. So you can heal your companion like you can heal yourself, in a sense. Potions, scrolls, the same way. Medical remedies, stuff like that. You just spend it on the animal rather than yourself to heal the animal. And the animal can share damage. So when you're if you can share damage out of combat. So if a trap falls and you're in a position where you could lose, say, 10 health points, the animal can take up to half of that damage. They take it, and then you take the rest, and you can split the damage, or they could take 1 point of damage. You know, because they kind of, you can imagine the animal kind of diving in the way or trying to pull you back or getting involved in that dangerous situation. You know, so that's a relatively new addition, as I was thinking about the uses of your companion. Situations will arise that I haven't thought up yet. So that's why this is going into testing now, and people can use this. Testers can anyway for the moment. It probably will be released earlier in a PDF form to a lot of people, so they can get in there and use it. The physical form won't come until much towards the summer, but the PDF may circulate. We'll just have to see how it goes with the development. But yeah, it's and then it's also realm compatible. I've just put it in there, but the difference is, Stefan, can you have only one companion or can you have more than one and exchange them at certain times? Well, that is a great question, Stefan. You can only use one at a time. You could, having two, potentially, if you wanted to. I haven't put that in here, but you can't use two at the same time. It just becomes far too complicated, really, in the setting. I mean, I guess you could try. They are rules are adaptable in that respect. David, I know it's too late in the game now, but if you could squeeze an image of the animal on there, possibly removing the narrative section, I'd love to see these printed similar to Alien Sanctuary cards. That is a good idea. I do like that idea. I do like the idea. Something to think about, David. Something to think about. It would be a movement away from the other character sheets that don't have any kind of art involved in them. And this is a character sheet rather than a creature card. And I think that there is going to be a menagerie section at the back of the book with images of creatures that are new, Corridine type creatures. Okay, I'll get some of those in a minute. I've got like 4, I think, now that Jake has sent me. Is heft the amount an animal can carry? No, it's not. I will get into that in a sec. Possibility on the future Kickstarter. Maybe. It may be that we put in some finished character sheet examples. I don't know whether... I have to think about it, David. It's something to think about. I've got to think about continuity across the whole design of the game as well. Foes are remarkably absent from the list of animals. Yes. But then they are mythical creatures, so they will be in that animal expansion for sure. Random Guy, how are you doing? Hey, Toby, hope your day is going good. Thank you. It is very good. Fridays. What can you do, eh? It's a weird day now that Joe's down to 4 days. She's now at home on Fridays helping me out, which is fantastic. So it's nice to have her around. Love to see rooms reacting differently if you have a companion animal with a specific ability. Yes, definitely. They will be present on the cover of the hardback edition. They will be... Some of these animals... I'm just getting black and white images for the animals, so we'll just have to see. Would be cool to have an animal companion cards, maybe not necessarily since they have their own sheet. Foes. I got you. I'm with you, David. Nice one. As they should be, exactly. I see. Yeah. No doubt. The foes will be there. Don't you worry. Good. So we are going to have a look. So we've got, realm compatibility. So this is another thing that could have been really dangerous, actually, with introducing animal companions. The skills that you use. How can I explain this? So in a dungeon, your animal companion skills are very focused to a small space, and they're calibrated for that. So their abilities work in a particular way in that space, especially general abilities. So they're kind of tailored for the lairs and the dungeon. All right. If you then take that animal with you, as you would do, into the realm, those abilities behave in a different way in the realm. So if you're outside, there's different things to look at, different things to achieve, different dangers to experience. So general abilities aren't used outside. Okay. And also when you're traveling across the realm, the time frame is much wider. So whereas when you're in the dungeon, you're in the moment. So the animal abilities are focused in on the dungeon. Okay, so this is where this has come from. This is an expansion of 2d6 dungeon, not of realm or of legendary dungeon. You can use the animal companion with 2d6 dungeon, and that is it. You don't need anything else. You can just have the animal companion 2d6 dungeon, and you could play. That's what it relies on. So we have to think about it in those terms. This companion is for the dungeon and for the lairs, if you like. So when you're in the realm, you can use the general skills within a mini lair, places to explore, like a tower or a cave. That's fine. So it does have its function within the realm. It's just a focused down skill, and I hope people can get there, because I don't know whether I'm explaining that incredibly well, but that's kind of where we're at. Just take your money, I'll buy that now. 2d6 Top Trump spin-off game. Oh my god, Talahar. Oh, hang on a sec, I missed something. Animal Companion Top Trumps cards. Yes. Top Trumps card. Ooh, we need that for the... Oh, man. That's actually a really good idea. Who we got? Jim. Good to see you. I think that's Jim. Hang on a minute. Are we? No, that's not Jay, and that's not Jim Tabletop Engineer. I don't think, is it? Oh, anyway, let me just get something quickly. All right. Got a few drawings that I printed out that we can have a look at there in a minute. Yes, it's 2-place Jim. Exactly. Yes, double Jim. How are you doing, Jim? Right, so create an animal companion. So should we create an animal companion? Why the hell not? We're going to do it randomly to begin with, and because you can pick them if you want to. You can pick them, but we're not going to. We're going to generate it randomly. Now, to be honest, there's only a couple of roles, because the skills, each animal has a particular set of skills. So you don't generate the skills for the animals, which is why I think also the idea of having a totally random generator would be an interesting thing to add at the end. But again, I go back to the fact that this is setting down the basis of the rules. So this is where it needs this backbone. Okay, right, so before I roll the die, I'm just going to go through what animals we have. Okay, so we have, this is a random table, so this is the list of animals here. Okay, and we're going to go through that in a sec. In fact, let's put that one there. So, this is the list of animals here, and in a different order than the random table, and I'll explain that in a minute. So this is the main animal table, and you've got your animal on the left here, you've got your size, you've got your heft. Now, heft is the size and strength of that beast, the strength. So when heft is generally used in terms of picking the weight of something, the energy of that heft in a way. So that is what we have here. Okay, And then we have stealth. You know, how quick, how nippy they are. Now, clearly, I've given a set of numbers to these animals. And people are going to look at it and they're going to think, well, maybe that one needs to be different, or different needs, that squirrel doesn't have enough stealth. I've tried to balance it out, and to try and give a variety across it. So if you see something on here and you're thinking to yourself, well, that bear's obviously stronger than that lion, it's just about me trying to give different options, okay, as well, okay. I've tried to be as close to it as I can, all right. But some of these may change, all right. Just bear with me. This is still the first draft. Evil squirrel. It tears up your homestead in your realm. Yes. It's been a while since I've caught a stream. Any news on what's coming in the future besides Legendary Dungeon, of course? Cody, there's lots of stuff. So we've got 2d6 Void, 2d6 Goblin Ancestry, and then we've also got a skirmish game I'm going to be doing next year. That's in the future. I don't want to be too distracted. War Squirrel. Could be. We'll see. They've only got so much strength. Certain things can make them more powerful. Certain focus you could take, but we'll talk about that. Yeah, Octoclaw is... Thank you, Cody. I totally spaced on the start time, but I'm here now. Thank you, Amiga. Good to see you. Good to see you. Right. That Western Homestead narrative game is also still in the works. That's correct. It's called Wild West Marshall. I'm going to be giving some more time over to that. I've been really focused on this and some other writing bits and pieces, but the Western will start to see that appearing, some ideas for that appearing soon. In fact, there is a little there's a little sneaky preview there. Gone. Okay, so right, so let's go through this. So we have the Iper Fox, okay, the Burrow Slouse, which is one that has appeared in the game already. We've got Cat, we've got the Cave Goat, we've got the Chantico Bear, the Comb Panda, the Dog, the Grub Badger, the Iris Monkey, the Lioneer, the Mist Hawk, the Octoclaw, the Ostrich, the Panther, the Phantom Wolf, the Raven, the Squirrel, Tusk Boar, the Ungibus, and the Weora Dormouse. Okay. And they each have combat ability. They all have at least one combat ability. Okay. And then they have general abilities as well. So some of them have 2 general abilities and only 1 combat ability. Some have 2 combat abilities and only 1 general ability. Okay, so this is it here, and the range of hit points and stuff like that. Okay, so I'll look at abilities in a minute. Here we go. Can companions be offered to the gods as a sacrifice in an emergency situation? Of course, no, not really. It's always it's a tricky one. It was always the kind of the moral approach. This animal is bound to you. It's very close to you. This isn't just something you've picked up. This is, so you wouldn't do that anyway. And in fact, the rules partly stop you from doing it. So there's a kind of, I don't know. Oh, look, it's your own game. You can take You can take, you can sacrifice your pet if you want to. My first companion will be Wilhelmina, the fearless cat, in honour of my childhood pet. Nice. How about emergency food supply? 2d6 dark dungeon, indeed. It's getting darker, isn't it? No, we're going with the spirit of the game. We're heroes. Heroes don't sacrifice their bonded companions, do they? Do they? I mean, I guess, if you're playing a dark version, you could probably do it. Right, so, here we go. So what we're going to do. What do we get? Alright. So, we have 10, 15. Okay. 15 is the Raven. Okay. Animal type, Raven. Sorry, my we'll name the animal after. Okay, once we know a bit more clearly. Is there a reason for having the dog in there twice? Yes, there is. Okay, that's the random nature of a most of you know. I'm sure you all know this. Okay, so the bell curve of 46. So you've got we've got 4 down here naturally and 24. And the way that I look at it here, okay, this is 21 numbers from here to here. So we've got the middle numbers, 13 and 14 are common numbers. 13 and 14. There are many more combinations to get those numbers. I know you're probably all aware of this. I'm just saying, and the dog is the most common companion. Okay, so that's the reason why those dogs are there in the middle. So, because the dog is the most common companion. Right, but we've rolled a Raven, which is fantastic. Now, it may be that it's all too easy to roll in the middle of this. It may be that it's too easy to roll here, and I need to think about the chances. It's rare to get 424, isn't it? Like you're going to roll 4 6s or 4 1s. It may be that I adjust this. I don't know what people think about that, but the rarer ones are the kind of more unusual, exotic type creatures. All right, especially with 4 die. I know. It may be that this is just a kind of a test run in a sense. So we're seeing how it goes. But listen, if you want an ungibus, okay, then you can pick it if you really want to. It's up to you. Octoclaws, if you want an octoclaw, you can have an octoclaw. Go for it. Go for it. In any case, we've rolled a Raven for this first one. There's a little bit about the types of animal that aren't really included in this. So we're going to go to the Raven. It's a medium size animal, which is maybe that should be small. Put medium in the box over there. Health points are 5. Put 5 there. We've got 0 XP to begin with. Heft for the Raven is 5. And then stealth is 4. Okay. So, I've put those bits in there. Oh, we've got abilities here, and we'll go around those in a minute. Abilities. So, Raven can distract and swoop. I'm going to write them in here, and then we'll have a look at them in a sec. And swoop. And then can retrieve as well. I'm kind of writing at a little bit of an angle here, you probably can tell. We're level 1 to begin with. Each ability can be leveled up to level 6. Okay. Right, so we've filled that in. Pretty straightforward. Okay. Yeah, not very stealth, Frank. Right, so we have here an animal temperament table. So your animal has a temperament. What's it like? Now, the thing about the temperaments are they're not necessarily all good. In fact, there's only like a few that are good. Most of them do give a plus in a modifier. So a plus to one of your heft or stealth. Okay. So although they have set heft and stealth, but they will be adjusted when they get a temperament. So you get slight changes in the animal, so based upon their temperament, and that temperament reflects how they would have lived their lives so far and the strengths they may have developed. So we're going to put temperament in here, and we're going to need to roll for it. So it's a d6. Let's get a d6 here. And 4. Curious. Okay. Which fits nicely. So curious. And plus 1 stealth. Okay. Which is here. So 5 in the stealth. And plus 1 health point. Up there. Okay. Only if you they never come back the same, Cody, exactly. Is it possible to bring back the dead companion with magic or something else? And if it were, could they have a special undead ability trait? Quite possibly in the future. It sounds like a great idea, Cody. Which is probably the undead companions is sounds like a fun one to do, doesn't it? Potentially, it's a good idea. Now we have talked about spectral powers giving your companions special abilities, so that is going to be a thing. It's going to be temporary for that companion, but the spectral energy that you can absorb through killing creatures in the Legendary Dungeon can be used on in a couple of occasions on your animal companion. So that is going to be an option. Only if you bury them in the pet cemetery. Yes. They yes, good old pet cemetery. Having an animal is already an advantage. It's okay for the temperament to be a disadvantage. I think so. And it doesn't really affect it too much. It adds a bit of character to it. So the curious one has the XP cost for leveling up levels 2 and 3 of any ability cost 1 point less. But if you roll a large room, oh, that's not meant to be there. That is not meant to be there. That's legacy. So I'm not going to read them all out, but we've adjusted our companion there. He's got 5s across heft and stealth, and 6 in his health points, which is good. Okay, right, now let's have a look at abilities. So firstly, we have got general abilities. As I was saying before, general abilities are used just within the dungeon. So you basically have a situation where you may need, you can use that ability to your advantage. So it might be awareness, say, for example, which has its whole or detect space. And what else have we got here? Favored friend, intimidate, magic aura. But the one we have is retrieve, so we're going to have a look at that. So my raven, which I haven't named yet, I'll be looking for names for my raven. So if you want to start, it's just bearing in mind it's a curious raven who's got a little bit of a buff on his health. Distract, swoop, and retrieve as abilities. Poe, Mark. That's got it. Forget about it. We've got it. We've got it. Poe is the name. I love it. Poe, Roger, Corvus. Guys, thank you. Mark was in there. Good one, Mark. Good old Bob. Yeah, there's going to be lots of names like that. I like it. I like it. Poe just went straight in, as in the poet. I love it. Fantastic. How appropriate. Okay, although, you know, he didn't live in Corradine, so... right. So, retrieve. So, let's have a look at one of these abilities. Retrieve. The animal can climb to retrieve objects from an area out of reach. Okay. The animal can do this once per room. Only gains can climb. Maybe we'll just put in here or fly. Or fly. Quoteth the raven, indeed. Here we go. So, only gains an XP point when an item is retrieved. Let me just quickly explain the XP system for the creatures here. So, leveling up. This is important to understand, okay? A volume of Poe writings is mysteriously found on the derelict ship in 2D6 Void. Indeed. Are we linking the universe here? Is Corradine a planet somewhere off in the universe, invaded by humans? No, we wouldn't want to have humans in the in 2D6 Void, would we? We want something else. That's a whole other thing. Okay, so leveling up. Experience points. Your animal companion does not level up like your adventurer, even though they gain experience. Instead, you level up their abilities. Each general ability has specific requirements when leveling XP, when gaining XP, which is outlined in the ability table, which we will look at in a sec. Combat abilities are slightly different. Every time one is performed, no matter what the result, the animal gains 1 experience point. Okay, so you have a situation where your animal's fighting, it tries to use its ability, and we'll talk about how that works in a sec, and they may fail, but they still get an experience point. But with the general abilities, they're rewarded with experience points for achieving that task. Okay, and we'll get some examples going. You spend XP when leveling up an ability, deducting it from the animal's total XP. Okay, so you spend the animal's XP as a resource. Okay, it's not a question of reaching 10 XP and all the skills you have are then leveled up. You have to decide: are you gonna spend 10 XP on one skill and then it goes down to 0 again? Each has got different costs, which you'll see. So that's basically how it works. And you can't jump levels. You have to go numerically up. 1, 2, 3, naturally. Okay. Not a large item retrieved by or heavy. Yes. Heavy. I've put heavy. I did have it large originally, but then I thought to myself, it's probably the weight that is more influential. In a sense, if you've got a heavy item, but it's if you've got a large item and it's light and you can kind of push it over, that doesn't seem as challenging as trying to get a heavy item. So, like, I don't know, something made of metal, say. So that's kind of how it works. Headcanon says IST Alien Sanctuary Tickets of Void is set in the same universe. Well, they aren't. They're all different universes, as far as I'm aware. Right. So retrieve. Okay. So your level 1 can retrieve light objects from out of reach spaces. Okay. So your level 1 can retrieve. I'm just going to write this in here. Light objects. Okay. So you write that into your description here, so you're kind of aware of what your animal can do with that skill. Now, if you then spend 4 XP, you can see here, and it says only gains XP points when the item is retrieved. So bear that in mind. You can see here, the retrieve level 2 is the same, but, and some are, there's this little bit of repetition, but you then have to look to the stat modifier, because you may not change the ability, the capability of that particular retrieve ability. You get +1 stealth. Okay. If you then took it up to level 3, which costs 6 XP, you then get some other abilities built into that ability. So, can retrieve light to medium objects from out of reach spaces. Medium objects require a check, roll 2d6. If the total is under the companion's ST, then they are successful. Okay, so there is a condition with this particular skill. So if you were looking up and it was a sack, and you can see the sack had some stuff in it, that's like a medium object. Okay, medium weight object. And you need to then roll for that check. Now, only a level 3 retrieve, if your Craven had level 3 retrieve, could he then try and get that object. Do you see what I'm saying? But if it's just a key hanging up somewhere, he could go and fly up and get that one much more easily. And then as the skill gets better, as you level up the skill, these skills become better and you can apply it. Now, every time you level up, you add the stat modifier. They're cumulative. Okay. So they add. So by the end of retrieve, our Raven Poe would have had 1, 2, 3, 4 health points added, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stealth points added. Okay. That's a good question. Something to think about. I quite like the idea of this being a stealth ability, but it could be heft. That's a good point. This is exactly these things need testing. HE. Probably. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah, use common sense. So that is the... Oh, I've written it in the wrong one here. it's retrieve. It's down here. Can retrieve light objects. Okay. All right. I really like how companions have abilities instead of dice attacks as well. I remember an event where there was a body hanging from the ceiling and you couldn't get to him. I'm guessing a companion can. Yes, indeed. That's exactly the point. I need to add a little bit of a paragraph in about integrating the companion's ability with inventive usage. Right, so let's go to combat abilities. There is a Sumpter ability, allows additional carrying, which maybe we'll look at later. Okay, combat abilities. All right, so there's an important little paragraph here that we will read. So, with combat abilities, these are abilities that must be used during combat. One combat ability can be used once per round before the enemy attacks. Every time you do so, you must roll a d6 for an attempt roll. If this is higher than the round die, then the animal can perform the ability. If it is equal to or lower, then the animal is too tired or something in the fray of the encounter has prevented it from doing so. Check the ability to see how it functions. This means that as the combat drags on, the more likely the animal companion is unable to perform their action in combat. Even if you are successful with the attempt roll, there may be something else that prevents the ability from working. Okay. Yes, Taylor, I think you're probably right on that one. Okay, so the Crow has Distract. Let's have a look at Distract. So it's not always guaranteed that the your companion will be able to complete their attack successfully. So we'll have a round. I will strike. My companion will try and strike if I want to get them to use their skill, and then the enemy will strike at me. Okay, that's how it works. Now for each of these, there is a little section here that says against 2+ enemies. So if you're fighting, and sometimes this happens as we know, if you're fighting 2+ enemies, there is a thing that happens if they try and use this ability. Now, you may desperately need your animal companion to launch into the attack, and you may risk them if you're losing. Say, although it distracts one enemy, it is knocked across the floor and is out of action for the rest of the combat, taking 1 damage. Okay, so if with the distract, if you use it with 2, the animal is going to be put out of action for the rest of the combat. Okay, so there are consequences, and you can think, if I'm fighting one person, there's another person fighting me as well. If the animal comes in, this second combatant is going to strike at the animal and try and take it out of the equation. Okay. So distract. Here we go. Distract level 1. The enemy has -1 shift for this round. Okay. I'm just going to write this in. All right. So we're round 2. I want my companion to use his distract ability, and I roll 2. He fails. His distraction doesn't work. If I rolled a 4, he was successful. Okay, and the enemy then has -1 shift for that round. Okay, so when it goes to attack this turn, it's distracted, -1 shift. Okay. Stealth is the ST. Shouldn't the check be Yes, I really like how companions have abilities. Right, okay, I've read that already. Cool. All right, so, but if you spend 6 XP, so just by doing these is gaining XP and it's going to be leveling it up. The enemy has -1 shift for this round, and you gain a free hit, meaning you attack twice in the round. Okay, that's the next level. Pretty powerful. And if we go all the way up to level 6, the enemy has -1 shift for this round, and you gain a free hit. Okay, and also your companion has +3 HP, and they would have already got 3 more HP from the stat modifier using the distract. Okay, so they're just stronger, fitter, and they're better at what they do. So it's kind of like working out. Using these abilities makes them stronger or have more health. In a sense, in a roundabout way. Okay, so that's distract, and then swoop. Let's have a look here. All right. Swoop. The last page. Yeah, okay. Swoop. Your companion can swoop down and attack the enemy during combat. Could be handy. Against 2 enemies, though, your companion must try to avoid injury. Roll 2d6. If the total is equal to or above their stealth, then they take d6 damage. This is the thing, you see. Health point 6. So it's risky fighting 2 people with your companion. You maybe just keep them back. So the first level, your companion swings in and slashes the enemy for damage equal to their heft. Okay, so I'm going to write that down. Damage enemy equal to heft. Okay, so their heft is 5. So if we're round 3, roll a dice. 6, fantastic. The crow can swoop in, slashes, does equivalent to heft damage. Now you can see, if you can get your creatures, your animals' heft up, then it's just going to do more damage. Okay, when you use things like swoop. Now, if you do level up your swoop, there is, in fact, you may find that some of these animals, and this is part of the testing, their combination, does retrieve give heft? Let's have a look here. No, it doesn't give heft. Well, I mean, it may be that there's that certain skill combinations are better, and that the Raven just doesn't have that. So we'll just have to see how they play out, each creature. So there will be ways of increasing your animal's heft or stats. I've just got to think about how that works into it. Retrieve gave stealth. It did. Okay. Right. So let's have a quick look here. So if we say we're level 5, swoop, your companion swings in and slashes the enemy for 2d6 plus heft plus 4 damage. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So you could argue 1, 6 plus 5, 11 plus 4 is 15 damage. That is a level 5 swoop ability. But as you can imagine, it's going to take you a while to get them up to that point. That's 16 points of XP. They've got to do that 16 times. Got to attack in combat 16 times. So you're adding up the HP, and you've already spent 10, 8, and 6 on the previous levels. It's hopefully the leveling, the calculations that I've done, the kind of the thought process that's got into it. It levels up at a good rate, and that your creatures don't get too powerful too quickly, your animals, with any luck. I can see now why you might use stealth for retrieve, since swoop is using heft. Otherwise, the Raven's stealth doesn't matter as much. Yeah, that may just be coincidence. It's just one of those things. When I'm thinking about the creature, I'm thinking about how it's probably going to become more nimble than hefty in a sense, because that's just more of a learnt skill, the stealth. Whereas the muscle side of the heft maybe applies more to some of these other types of attack. We'll see. We'll see whether that's a happy coincidence. Again, XP differently from the hero. They do. Talahar, pay attention. So basically, you gain points. They gain points for using their skills. All right. So with the distract, every time they do that in combat, they get a point. Just add a point on here, and you don't always successfully do it. And as the combat goes on longer, it's harder for animals to get involved. They're tireder. It's more dangerous. So they're probably going to be featuring in the first few rounds, and then from then on, after that, their use becomes put to one side, if you like. So you've got two attack combat ability things here that you can use, and you get abilities. Now with the retrieve, it only gets a point if it actually retrieves an item. Okay, so that's again there, and then that's basically it. That is basically it. You've got that whole setup there. Very nice. I'm pleased with that. Obviously needs tweaking. Traveling with Todd. How are you doing? Good to see you. Okay. Blah. Extremely cool. Oh, you like it? I'm trying to create something that isn't too complex, but adds options to combat and helps improve, give you options to expand the narrative and expand inventive usage. So there's a kind of like, there are many reasons. Thanks, Mark. That is basically it. So in the book, we're going to have some examples. There's going to be might be some other skills. There might be some that random, totally random generator where you can roll on the skills table. These giving the animals skills keeps it a bit more thematic. So we're kind of playing upon the reality of their skills. But you could create something that was much more random. Thoughts on this expansion have been summed up on my latest Facebook post. Fantastic. I will go and have a look. So we've got that. So we'll have a look at doing one more. So we've got Poe the Raven, Heft 5, Stealth 5, Distract, Swoop, and Retrieve abilities. And you can level those up and gain the XP and monitor that. So hopefully it's not too complicated, but hopefully it adds enough to improve, to be fun. You know, it is about being fun. I'm trying to make these things fun. All right, so I've got a couple of images I printed out here. We've got a Chantico bear, a grub badger. We've got what else have we got? The ungibus, the lion ear. Okay, so what basically I kind of felt was I needed a sort of more of a direction for the fauna of Corradine, in a sense. Bears are a big presence within Corradine. So the animals like lions have actually evolved from bears, and there are pandas. There's the cone panda, which actually is a tree climbing bear, and you've got the Chantico bear, which is the bear you can have. Can a companion be used for the constable? Yes, I don't see why not. Yeah. I don't see why not, actually. Maybe we'll do, maybe this year, this is interesting. Maybe we'll do a Halloween creature animal companion expansion. Maybe that'll be fantastic. Cryo Ninja, how are you doing? Are there any public testing options for this where we can try out the current versions and give feedback via Google Forms or something similar? We do it slightly differently. I have a list of testers which I can put you onto, and then I'll send you out an email with details about how you give the feedback, which is just replying to me, bearing in mind some of the key questions that I've asked. Now, I have sent some stuff out to people. We've had some people test the level 10 generator, which is great. It's very useful. And this will be going out soon. So if you want part of that, Cryo Ninja, then you need to email me, toby@drgames.co.uk. Just above my head here is the website address. Just take out the www. and put Toby at, and you can go there. Would love to join that. No problem. Just make sure, Cryo Ninja, that you put in your message AKA Cryo Ninja, because people have different handles, don't they? And if you can roll off the Raven you chose tonight would be a perfect fit for the Constable. Exactly. Well, if we did a Halloween companion, maybe what happens is you turn up in a situation and some spooky creature joins you or something like that. I don't know. Haven't even thought about it. Right. So as I was saying, there's bears are one of the common creatures, or that type of creature. So the lion is a mix between a lion and a bear. Okay. So this is the lion ear. Okay. And we have which is there, and we have an ungibus, which is this creature here, kind of a bit like bear-like, a bit like a sloth kind of type creature. So we're kind of more dire versions maybe. That's not a bad idea, Stefan. I like it. Transformation of your animal companion. That would be wicked. That could be fun. A special companion of the next Halloween. Yes, I think so. And we've got, this is, Jake Abington's done this art. I've just printed them out. He sends them to me on A4 sheets, and I just print them to have a look at them. And we've got, we've seen the Octoclaw there. The Octoclaw. And then I've got one more at the moment. The Iperfox. No, sorry. That's not the Iperfox. That is the Phantom Wolf. There we go. That's what we're looking at. All right, let's do something a bit different here. Let's go with one of these. Shall we do the Wyara Dormouse? I'm going to pick this one. Okay, so the Wyara Dormouse. Small. Health is 2. Okay, and we've got down here, stealth is, heft is 1, and stealth is 7. Right, skills, we have distract, scavenge, and favored friend. Level 1, 1 and 1. 0 XP at the moment. Ask Fox, if you could get him walking through a dungeon door, would be an amazing cover for the expansion. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. But yeah, we've got that cover by Dean Spencer, which is the Iris Monkey. So we're using that one at the moment, but that's going to feature in the menagerie at the back. All right, so don't worry, you're going to be able to see that one, and there's a few others that are being done, so they'll be coming. Okay, so we've got distract, which actually we saw before, didn't we? So you don't need to spend too much time on that. Distract is a combat one. So that's the one combat ability. Okay. So distract, the enemy has -1 shift. Has -1 shift. So that is like the scurrying around the floor to kind of distracting. So they get the -1 shift. And right now, scavenge. The other two are, one is a normal ability, and then one's a unique ability to this particular creature. So there are some unique abilities. We have a scavenge. So the companion searches through plants looking for anything interesting. There must be at least 2 plants or one of a large size or some vegetation. So in the dungeon, there are situations where you come across plants growing up the walls, or there's water and there's some plants. It doesn't happen that often, so it's maybe not the most useful ability. But there are layers where this is a more common occurrence. Okay, so some layers have more plants, especially the Sunken Swamp. So there are some benefits for this particular locations that benefit some skills more. Okay, so with the scavenge, you roll on the scavenge table. All right. So some abilities have a little table inbuilt into the book. So roll on the scavenge table. And we'll give you an example of that here. So it's 2d6. And as you get better, as your skills get better, you get +1, +2. And you can roll twice. So you send your little dormouse off into, there's some vines and stuff like that. Send him off. Roll a die. 6. Your companion finds nothing. Great. Okay, just say we rolled a 9. Your companion is carrying a small item when it appears. Roll a d6. 2. It's an acorn. Fantastic. And then you add acorn to your inventory yourself, and you can sort of do this check whenever you enter into a space where it could be where the criteria are met for the search. And so that you can offer an acorn to a god in particular. Can't remember which one it was, but that is how it is. And then we have, there are some negatives. So you do find a snake or a giant rat in certain situations if you roll low. Nice. Talahar, good. Yeah. And then we've got Favoured Friend. So this one has the ability Favoured Friend. So, your companion is favoured by the gods. Its presence pleases them. Whenever you make a correct offering to a god, you use this particular ability. Only gains XP if it is favoured. So you roll on this table. Again, roll on the favoured table. Table here. Oh. And give another example here. double one. The god sees your companion and their attention is turned from you. You do not gain a favour point for this offering. So it can have a negative effect. If you roll something higher, 7, nothing happens on this occasion. Or maybe the god recognises your companion and gives it +2 and +2 HP and +1 HE. So the offering can build up your mouse to something bigger. The gods will empower it. And the god recognises your companion and you gain an extra favour point for being its carer. You also heal 10 health points. So there are some definite benefits to levelling up your favoured friend. And so that's a kind of like, it's a special ability. There you go. Not a mouse, but a mouse. You said it. Right, so fantastic. So there's a couple of animal companions, and you just take them along, put them in next to you, and that's largely where we're going with that. I'll just point out a couple of other things. We've got a magic aura, which the fox has. The Iper fox has a magic aura. Your companion gives off a magical aura which only you can detect and be affected by through your prolonged companionship, because these there we go. There's another little thing I didn't check there. We talk about XP. It's ability that your companion always has. So for example, if you fail to cast a scroll, you may roll again, because the magic aura has kind of empowered you, being close to the fox. You can ignore dispel doubles when casting a scroll. When using healing potions or scrolls, gain 5 health points even if it takes you above your baseline. Gain extra. Need to add that in there. So there's a few little bits and pieces that I need to just kind of touch up. But when you're doing so many tables, it's sometimes difficult to see all to check them. It's kind of quite bamboozling sometimes. Okay. Yeah, Mighty Mouse, Paul. I like that. So we also have a Sumpter. So some of them have the Sumpter ability, which is basically carrying stuff. The goat, the badger, the grub badger. Anybody else there? Yes, the ostrich and the burrow slouse. Okay, Sumpter. This ability that your companion always has. Companion can carry extra items due to their training and capabilities. Carried items can be used as normal and are recorded under the ability on the companion sheet. So, for example, if you're level 3, in a special carry pouch, your companion can carry 2 extra scrolls and an extra potion. So basically, it's increasing your capacity for carrying magical items because it has that Sumpter ability, which is something that people have always said. Well, some people have always said, can't we carry more potions? Well, not ordinarily, but now you can with your animal companion. So there you go. It might be nice to have more than 3 abilities listed, and you get to choose which 3 your companion has. Nothing too crazy, like choose 3 out of 4 or 5 possible abilities. Yeah, I think the problem with that is people metagame it. So although, you know, if you just want to play, you know, your best, you just want to pick ones that you think are character driven, there'll be other people who will look at it and they'll figure out the best combinations, which is fine. I don't really care, but the emphasis is upon narrative with this design. So hopefully that kind of comes through with the random generation options that I'm going to put at the end. People can do that. So there'll be, you know, you can pick a giant toad. No, not a giant toad. What haven't we got here? You could do a polar bear or something like that. You could kind of work it how you want it. They would have to be specific to the animal, so a raven can't choose from all the abilities just from... Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. It's something to think about. Was always more of a Danger Mouse man myself. Got to love that eye patch. Absolutely. Penfold. Yeah. So that's kind of like... and there's some other ones in here. There's also another magical one. You got an awareness one that helps, you know, you get bonuses when people come in. Shadow phasing, damage you receive the round is reduced by 1 per level, so the companion's phasing ability extends towards you and helps reduce the damage you take. So there's that side to it. Awesome stuff. Okay. All right, guys. I hope you like that. I'm really pleased with how it's gone. These are these little sheets I think are handy. I'm trying to strike a balance. Nothing too crazy. So that's kind of where I'm at. And it's going to go through a phase of testing. Now, as it does that, I'm shifting my focus onto starting to write the dungeon rooms, because we've got the core rules done for Legendary Dungeon. We've got the animal companion core rules is kind of there, but we've got to adapt them slightly, and then we're into the dungeon. And so I'm going to be working on that. I've already been doing some of that, obviously, but the focus will be on writing the dungeon rooms. And we'll just have to see how it goes. And in the meantime, we'll also be keeping an eye on how people do with their companions, whether they're too powerful. So, yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Blah. That's very kind of you. Jeff. Oh, cool. I caught a live stream. Jeff, we're just finishing, I'm afraid. You can always watch it back, though. Minus it, but... You can make. There'll be options for you to make your own faux companions, Talahar. No problem, guys. You're doing fantastic. I am tired. There's a lot of progress. We're getting there. Going to get this done as soon as I can. Thank you, David. That's awesome. Appreciate that. And they'll be sending out their stuff to some other people as well. So that's going to be going. No problem, Zach. Thank you. Don, okay, we'll watch later. Good morning from South Korea. Wow. Nice one. Great to know you're out there in South Korea watching. Yeah, it's night time. So it's 11:30 over here. So I'm pretty tired. You've been fantastic, guys. Really good questions. Very helpful for me to hear what people say. And I look forward to getting some feedback. I'm going to spend a bit more time just polishing this off. And yeah, good night, guys. Thank you very much. And I will catch up with you soon. I'll try and do a video beginning of the week. Now I'm feeling less congested. But I will definitely be back next week for a stream. And it might well be Thursday. We'll see. It's more likely to be Fridays, but Thursdays, it could be an option to do that next week. So guys, I will catch up with you very soon. Take care. Have a great weekend. And let's go the Hornets.